Kelvin, the confidence JoJo and Terrence showed, making several decisive moves. How important is that, and how have you seen that grow?
Um, well, last year, month of March, I knew what we were missing. You know, people want you to be at your best when you're not at your best. I think the thing I've always asked our teams to do is do the best you can. Now, if we have Terrence and JoJo, our ceiling is higher, but our ceiling went down without those two because we had to play Ced when he's not ready. You know, I love Ced, but putting JoJo in the game when we're rotating JVR, J1, and JoJo, we're a completely different team. But the fact that those kids both missed 7 months this summer, coming off major surgeries. I mean, Terrence is as major as it gets. A torn Achilles tendon. That's major. JoJo breaking the foot on top of his ankle, not his metatarsal. That's major surgery. I mean, those guys. Terrence was out from January through August without playing basketball. He shot some, shot free throw stuff, but he didn't play basketball probably until September, I would think. JoJo was out, and he went through all the stages. He, was in a wheelchair, then he was on a walker, then he was in crutches, and then he was in a boot for 7 months. So we, inside our family, where nobody is but us, we silently cried with those guys because that was a major, major hit for them, taking that part of their life away. They prepared for last season as hard as anybody else, but they had it taken away. But equally, we had it taken away. We had a really good team last year. The team that won the Big 12 without those guys was a good team, but not nearly as good as it would have been with them. That's why you can't predict how things are going to go. There's a lot of silliness out there about asking, can we win a national championship? How would I know? How would I know? You understand what a bad call does to a team on the way, or a missed free throw, or a sprained ankle? Who knows? That's why you don't ever focus on the destination. You take pride and joy in going through the journey. And ever how it ends up. But don't ever, unless you're ignorant, don't ever judge your season based on how you finish. Judge it on how hard you tried. And did you do the best you could? Was that all we had? If we do that, then that's fine. It's like JoJo shooting tonight. People said, somebody's going to say this statement, ridiculous statement. If JoJo shoots like that the rest of the year, JoJo will never shoot like that the rest of the year. That's once in a blue moon night. He's not going to shoot like that, The best shooters miss 6 out of 10, right? Right? They miss 6 out of 10. Well, he's not one of the best shooters. At best, he's a 3 for 10 guy after you average it all out. And that's pretty good for him. So I don't get carried away when they have bad nights. I don't get carried away when they have good nights. They're human beings. They're going to have a night like this. He certainly worked hard enough for it. But the next game, he could go 0 for 5. What happened to Joe? Nothing happened to him. That's basketball. It's called a game of averages. It'll even itself out. What'd you go tonight from 3, Joe? 2 for 2? Yeah, 2 for 2. Why didn't you shoot more?
Coach, your thoughts on Mercy's rebounding tonight?
It's better than his shooting. Mercy's got a nickname. Tell him your nickname, Mercy.
He called me Shotgun Willie.
Shotgun Willie. Shotgun Willie.
Yeah.
Mercy came from a high school where he got to shoot all the balls. I told him, son, we pass around here. He took one down that one side, and he thought he was back at Notre Dame Prep playing Cathedral Jesuit, or whatever the teams are in that league out there. He was 1-on-5. Of course, he was going to miss that one, but he's learning. He's getting better because he cares. You know, kids that care usually get better. It matters to them. It's important to them. It's important to Mercy to get better. But that's why he came here. He chose hard. You know, choosing easy is never the way to go. Don't ever choose easy. Choose hard. You know, Mercy came here, JoJo. These kids that come here, they come here because they chose hard. And that's how they get to where they want to be. You know, Mercy's going to wind up being a really good player. I don't know if it's going to be this year. He'll keep getting better, but I know he'll be a lot better next year. As long as he's here, he'll continue to improve. This is not none of these guys are close to their ceilings, and I mean none of them.
Kelvin, 4 turnovers tonight. Is this team getting better at that ball
Yes,
control you always demand?
Yeah. I mean, that's not an accident. We led the nation last year in fewest turnovers. I think we averaged. You guys check my facts, make sure I'm right. But I think we averaged as a team 8 turnovers, which is about how many Mercy averaged a game. You know, him and Chase and JoJo, when those guys walk in this wall, nobody's ever said a word to them about turnovers until they realize that we don't turn the ball over here. You know, I think we had 1 at halftime. The only guy that had multiple turnovers was our point guard. But people have a tendency to say when we beat a team like that, well, they're no good. That team's pretty good. Sometimes it's not necessarily them. And maybe it's the team that's playing against them. It's pretty good. And tonight we were pretty good. Our defense, but our kids were ready to play. They're excited to play. I mean, we hadn't played in 8 days. Nobody wants to go 8 days this time of year. At some point, practice can become counterproductive. We don't need to practice every day. We're done with that. We need to play games. We played prior to tonight. Our first game was on November 4th. Tonight's November 22nd. So that's 18 days. We played 3 games. Just about everybody how many Hofstras played? There's our 6th game. There's some teams that played 7. Most teams that played 5 or 6. You know, we've only played 3 going into tonight. But we're fixing to make up for it. We're getting ready to play 4 in 9 days. So it'll even out. But this time of the year, after you've had June, July, August, which wasn't practice, which was other stuff, and then September, which is still not practice. We start practice really early October, late September. Then we have a scrimmage and a charity game and 3 games. You know, practice 2 or 3 days and let's go play again. Not 8 days off and play, but we got through it. Our kids were hungry. They couldn't wait to get out of that locker room and go play.
Mercy, so obviously you've been learning things under Coach Sampson and watching other guys like Cryer and Sharp. What are some qualities that you've picked up with you early on in your freshman career?
I feel like, just being around guys like that every day who come in ready to work and, just do everything the right way. I have great teammates and we got great coaches. So I feel like everybody just being focused and coming in every day, I feel I had to be focused on every task that we do, just being ready to give 100 every time I step into practice or on the court. So, coach has been challenging me, and I feel like, this has been very helpful for me so far.
JoJo, what have you learned and are learning from your veteran bigs?
Say it again.
What have you learned from veteran bigs like Javier and those guys up front?
Everything. Yeah, a whole different way we come over here playing. Yeah, so I learned everything. Staying in front, stopping the ball, on the pick and roll, everything. Line of scrimmage. Sure. Just playing hard.
Kelvin, you talked about a little bit Vegas, the chance to play 3 games in a week, and against that competition. How good would that be for this team?
Well, we need to play games. Doesn't matter who we play. I mean, It's not football where you lose a game and you knock yourself out of half the bowls. You know, Coach from Alabama is a really good friend of mine. Does anybody know what Alabama's record was last year? Huh? Somebody Google that real quick. I know what it is, but I want you guys to understand what this means. How everybody starts tripping when you lose a game. Unbelievable. You got it? You got it? Did you guys know that was their record? They went to the Final Four. They lost 12 games. Think about that. They lost 5 in the non-conference. You know, if we played us, let's say Houston, Auburn, Alabama, Creighton, Arizona, Kansas, Baylor, we played each other in non-conference. Somebody's probably going to lose 4 or 5 games, and probably is going to make some kind of statement about, well, they're not that good. How do you know? You've got 4 more months to work and get better. You know, that's why I scheduled Auburn. I thought we were good enough to win that game, and we were. We led it for 26 minutes. We had the lead under 4 minutes to go. We were right there. We could have won that game. But Auburn played better than we did on November 9th. They were better than us. We could play really good on what night did we play Alabama? Tuesday? We could play really good on Tuesday and lose that game. And what does that mean? Doesn't mean anything. That's why you play those games. You know, you've got to understand what it is from our side. You know, we don't jump off cliffs around here when we lose a game. That's why I wanted you to know Alabama lost 12 games and went to the Final Four. They lost 5 non-conference games. You know, I saw I didn't realize the Maui field was as good as it was. I saw Iowa State, North Carolina, Auburn, Memphis, UConn. Somebody's going to walk out there with 2 losses. It's really good. You know what it means? Nothing. Nothing. You're in a conference. When you put yourself out there against the really good teams, you're saying we can lose that game, but can we learn from it? You know, look at our bench right now. I think we've learned something from every game we've played. That's why I wish we had played some more. But this team will keep getting better, regardless of whether they're winning or losing to the really good teams. And there's teams in Vegas that can beat us. Now, we can beat them too. But we've got 11 non-conference games. We want to be playing our best basketball. Now, if we happen to catch some strays along the way, then so be it. That's never bothered me, losing games in November. And 40 years of doing this stuff, I've never cared much about how we do in November. And if you think you've got a really good team, then schedule really good teams that can beat you, test you, you know. So I see some teams have 11 games that they're going to win by 40. And then there's somebody's going to think they're better than they actually are. You're not. Sometimes it's better to be 8-3 or 6-5 than it is to be 11-0 because of who you played. Play these good teams. They get you better and they get you ready. Playing Auburn helped us. Had we won the game, it would have helped us the same way it did when we lose it. That's why I don't overreact to that stuff. You know, in football, you've got that college football playoff stuff, so losing the game is tricky for football. Losing the game means nothing in basketball, unless you're in March. Then it gets a little dicey then.
Mercy, just what are your thoughts on the 9 rebounds you got tonight?
Yeah, I just felt like, you know, just coming out, playing hard, and everything else to take care of itself. So I went out there and just, you know, try to play as hard as I could. You know, Coach he's been pushing me. So just getting the boards, being a guard, going to get 5 boards, so I get to sign the bubble. So
6.
6?
That's all right. You're fine.
6. I got to sign the bubble.
That's your first turnover tonight.
Yeah, I had 0.
Well, you got 1 now.
But yeah, so I got to sign the bubble. Just doing things like that, anything to help the team, and just come out here and compete and give my all.
Kelvin's this team's ability to defend the 3-point shot. You see it getting better at that? How do you see it?
Everything. I mean, when we started in September, we're no good at nothing. Nothing. I'm dealing with brand new guys. Our team changed. Last year, in September, we had brand new players. LJ was brand new. He'd never done anything we did. You don't start off at 10. You start off at 0. Then you get better and better and better. And then you lose games along the way. But you're still getting better. But it takes time. I think in our scrimmage that we had back on October the 19th, I think we probably had 16 turnovers. I expected that. It's our scrimmage. We probably had 14 or 15. Hell Mercy might have had 14 himself in the A&M game if I had let him play enough. I had to call timeout one time, make sure he knew what color jersey we were wearing. I said, son, we're wearing white here. Why do you keep throwing the ball to A&M? And then for some reason he was in a giving mode. They'd run over to Mercy and just take the ball from him. Am I right? Yeah, but see, look at him now, though. That's why you don't overreact to stuff. There's no period at anything you do in the month of October, November, or December. They're commas. That means there's more to come. It's not the end of anything. You know, we were no good at taking care of the ball in October, nor should we have been. Look at the freshmen we're playing. Just this week, JoJo, how many turnovers you have that one day when I damn near put you under the house? 3. And how many did you have tonight? 0. Getting better. But we emphasize that. And usually in the really good programs, you achieve what you emphasize.